Hello, Flames, and welcome to another edition of the Forever Aflame podcast, where we talk with alumni and hear their story. Today, we are pleased to be joined by Mo Huggins, affectionately known as Pastor Mo.
Hey, what's up, man? I am so glad to be here. I love Lee, and thank you for inviting me and the opportunity.
Absolutely, Mo. We are so excited to talk with you about the wonderful things God's doing in your life, your ministry, your family. But let's go back to the beginning of your Lee journey. So tell us a little bit about how you ended up at Lee. What did that look like?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's really rooted in a God moment. And I know everybody has those moments in their life that they just know God is involved. I was deciding between some basketball scholarships back home, small schools. Yeah. And just didn't feel settled about it, and had a dream that I got an acceptance letter from Lee. And I remember applying because I'm a Church of God kid and just never thinking about it. And the next day got that acceptance letter in the mail. And so I just felt like, okay, this is what God wants to do. And then I was nervous to go by myself, so I convinced my cousin to go to school with me.
So you were recruiting.
I was recruiting from the first day, yes. And it really, Lee marked my life. Some of my best friends, some of the most pivotal moments, my call to ministry, all of it happened here at Lee.
Yeah, we talk a lot about transformational moments that happen at Lee, and that's one of the things that, when we talk to prospective students or families or donors or supporters, we talk about creating those transformational moments. That's what makes Lee special. So let me ask you to go a little deeper in those. Is there a moment or two that just sticks out about your Lee experience that you say, man, that forever kind of changed the trajectory of my life? Obviously, you deciding to come is one of those moments, but was there a moment when you were on campus that really kind of sealed?
Yeah, let me talk about a few of those. I think when I first came here, I was born in Connecticut to Jamaican parents who never really been to the South, never really knew anything about it. So when I came here, there was a bit of a culture shock, and I wondered if I could fit in. And I remember when coming out of a chapel one day, me and my cousin were on the right outside of the PCSU, and we started dancing. There was this song, and I still think millennials have the best era of music.
Absolutely, we do.
There was this song called Walk It Out, and we were dancing, and here comes Dr. Paul Kahn, and he just joins in with us and starts dancing. I was like, if the president can do that, then I can be here. For me, what it said to me is that Lee is a place that no matter where you're from, what your story of origin is, that you can belong here, that
I love that.
You can be a part of the Flame family. And so that was impactful for me. I think another one of those moments was when I was wrestling with my call to ministry. I was a political science major, desired to go to law school, do all of those things, and I was wrestling with it, and I said, okay, God, I'll take a Bible class, and it was Dr. Cuellar's Biblical Interpretation.
There you go.
And three days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, from 1 o'clock to 1:50, all he talked about was Jonah. And, there's 65 other books in the Bible, but he talked about Jonah, and God used his class and that moment and series of moments to really guide and shape my life and put me on the path that I get to live out today. And those are just two of those really just impactful moments that shaped and really geared me towards where we are today, and just forever grateful for the impact Lee has had on my life.
I love that. Were there clubs, organizations, people you were a part of that really shaped who you were?
Yep. So I was a member of Pi, and I was Bo for Omega. And
I'm an honorary big brother of Omega. Did you know that?
Well,
I knew there was some sort of connection there. But absolutely.
And I was friends across the Greek club, Dysphoria, if you will, and just there's so many different things to get connected with and get involved with. I tried to make friends as broad as possible. I wasn't in no choir, but I had friends in all the different choirs, and those moments were really key. Two of the guys who stood up with me at my wedding happened to be in Pi with me, and folks that I get to hire. This is a really cool full circle story is when I got to the church that I'm at right now, before I got there, the office manager saw my name and she was just like, who is this guy and why is he friends with my daughter and son-in-law, only to find out that her daughter was my big sister in Omega, and just how God was putting those pieces together. It's just beautiful.
That's an incredible story, man, and you hear that a lot within the alumni community as I get out and talk with our alums. Just those connections that last long after you get, you wear the cap and gown and you get your diploma, and we love that. That's why we title this "Forever Aflame." It's not just a slogan; it is true. Okay, so you've graduated. You feel a call to ministry. What did that look like? Because sometimes people graduate and they're like, okay, now what? What do I do? So what did that look like for Mo?
Honestly, my journey was a little unique. I worked a third shift job so that I could be a youth pastor at a little church and really just get my feet wet in ministry. And then after a couple of years doing that, felt the Lord called me to go to Atlanta, and I didn't have anything. And I think sometimes one of the things I learned at Lee is that you don't have to let your head be at the door and stop thinking, but you also can't let your heart be ignored. And faith and your intellect work together to take real big, bold steps of faith and moves. And had an opportunity to take a big leap of faith and move to Atlanta. Didn't have anything, but the Lord began to open up every door for me. Ended up meeting my wife, and the only thing wrong with her is she didn't go to Lee. And
we'll honorary. We'll forgive her. She's over there. We'll forgive her for that.
But met my wife. Got into full-time ministry. Opened up doors of opportunity, and really what I learned is putting that first foot in front of you. What I also learned is that Lee degree opened up some doors for me. When people knew that I was from Lee, knew that I had been educated at this institution. In fact, one of the people who hired me told me one of the reasons why my name got to the top of the list is where I went to school.
There you go. Alumni, future graduates out there, prospective students, hear that.
And so that just ordered my steps. And I think being faithful where God plants you until he opens the door for what's next is so important. And just that intentionality. Too often we dream about what's next without being faithful in what's now. And that's a tension to manage, but the faithfulness of now is actually the key that opens the door to what's next.
Man, that's so good. I think that's so important for people to hear, because we're going to talk just in a minute about the platforms and the stages that God has opened up and allowed you to walk on. And I think one of the main reasons perhaps that those doors have been open to you is because you said, I work third shift so I could be a youth pastor. And you I think recognized at a very young age that it was take some hard work, and that you've got to be faithful in the little things before those big things come to fruition. But I loved what you said there, because I think we all get in such a hurry about what's next, right? We dream about that, and I like that you said it is a tension to manage, because we should be dreamers, and we should look to what's ahead, but not at the cost of missing out of the now, right?
Yes, and that's the point I wanted to communicate. The dream will. Psalm 105:19 says it like this in the New Living Translation: "Until the time came to fulfill Joseph's dream, the Lord tested Joseph's character." And I think the tension is the dream will be fulfilled. It's being faithful now that refines your character to be able to handle where God is trying to take you. And I think for me personally, I was just in a race initially to get to where I felt like I was supposed to. And the moment I said, God will do it in his time, it's like the alignment of, I call it the pace of grace, that I'm not running ahead of God or I'm not lagging behind God, that I'm walking in step with the pace of grace that he's given us and where he's trying to take us. And
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
That's good. That's good. So let's talk about that ministry journey a little bit as you kind of get settled in now. So you're in that area. God's opening up some doors.
Yeah.
And I know there were some people that were pretty impactful in your early season of ministry mentors that really helped lay the groundwork for where you are today. Why don't you touch a little bit on that, because I think legacy is such a big part of what we talk about.
Yeah.
Especially in my role, giving it back to that next generation.
Yeah.
So I know there were some people in your life that were pretty impactful.
Yeah, I think if there's one thing I'd say, if you're an early grad, is you want to get connected to someone who's ahead of you, because you don't have to learn every lesson through experiential knowledge. You can hear the stories and the wisdom of those who are ahead of you, who can help chart and guide your course. Part of the acceleration of my life is me sitting and listening to those who have wisdom. And my pastor mentor, he's a board member of Lee, is Pastor Marty Baker.
Yeah,
and
he's a good one.
Oh man, I love him. I use that title so strong. He is my pastor. I was on the phone with him on my way up here, and just how he has invested in my life, shaped my life, given me wisdom. There's probably not a big decision that I make that I don't talk to him and run through that. And I think his experience with Lee has also, he's talked to me about, hey, here's what you do. I'm here speaking at convocation, and I'm like, okay, let me talk to you about how should I approach this, what this should look like. And the wisdom he has deposited in me has helped me become not just a better man and a better husband and a better follower of Jesus Christ, but also a better pastor, that I lead the people I lead the way I lead because I've had a pastor who not just inspired me, but coached me, correct me, helped develop me. And too often in our zeal, we assume because we're current and relevant that those who are behind us, or what I would say who came before us, may not understand as much, but their wisdom is so timeless. And I would say forever aflame. You need to find an older flame to help you navigate the days ahead.
Yeah, it's funny. In conversations I have with people, Pastor Mo, I never run into somebody, honestly. I can't think of anybody that I run into that is really successful in whatever industry or path that the Lord laid out for them that didn't have that didn't have somebody, a mentor in their life who helped them, who guided them, who encouraged them, who at times corrected them as they were growing, who gave them opportunity and space to make decisions and make wrong decisions and figure it out and all of those type of things. So that mentorship's so important. Yeah, absolutely.
And what I would say, if you're a more seasoned flame, I would say look for opportunities to open doors for people that way, because your legacy should live beyond you, and the number one way for that to happen is to invest in those who are coming up behind you.
I love that. I share often, my wife and I are college and young adult pastors here in town at South Cleveland, and I share often with our college students is you need to be a Paul to somebody.
Yes.
And you need to allow yourself to, and you need to find a Paul.
You
need to be Timothy and find a Paul, and you need to be Paul to somebody. And I think that having both of those relationships work in our lives enriches our life all that more.
It transforms it. And it's the way God designed it. Jesus didn't come to just fix your vertical relationship with God. He came to fix those horizontal relationships. Right. And there's nothing God does great that he does in only isolation. He uses people to help people. I like to say it like this. You were created on purpose, for a purpose, to make a difference in the lives of others. That your purpose is never even about you. It's about how God can use you to make a difference. And so whether you're a doctor, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're a preacher, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, all of our purpose is to make a difference in the lives of others.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So good, Pastor Mo. Now tell us now where you're at. You're at Mountain West Church. You're killing it. Man. You are advancing the gospel. Talk about how God opened the door to put you there, and what God has done over the last few years. It's been remarkable.
Yeah, it really was an alignment of multiple things. We're at Mountain West Church now, and my predecessor, Pastor Michael Shreve, is also a Flame, and he was a leader on this campus and just an incredible man. And as that transition was happening, he was so faithful to just help transition well. He encouraged those who were on the fence. I was 33 years old and new kid. Who is this guy? And change is hard for people, and he helped pastor them through that and encourage folks. And he's been a resource that I can call and that. But we got there, and the Lord really just began to move on that area. And he told me when I got there that people would come by the hundreds. And I think a lot of life is just hearing the word of God, believing the word of God, and then acting on that word of God. Yeah. And I'm not trying to make it simple. There are complications along the way. But if you can hear it, believe it, do it, God will meet you in those spaces. And God really just started sending people by the hundreds. I wish that first week it was like 100 more people. It was not. It was like
it takes time.
Yeah, it takes time. But after a couple of months, we just saw every month our attendance was jumping by 100. We went from 300, 400, 500, 600, 700. And this last year, we just really saw an explosion of God's favor. We had 2 churches hand us their keys and gave us 2 paid-off buildings. And we launched 2 new campuses. And God has added in the last 3-4 years about 2,000 people to our church.
It's incredible.
And, we've seen hundreds of salvations, hundreds of baptisms, and really life change happening. And it's amazing what will happen if God gets all the glory.
Yeah.
If you don't care who gets the credit, if you don't care if it was your idea or my idea, if it's about the Lord's kingdom and people encountering Jesus, God will do something special. And I'm excited to be a part of that ride. I've got a few Flames on my staff.
There you go.
That's been good. And
that.
I do the same thing. If a Lee resume comes on my desk, that moves to the top, and I don't know if I'm allowed to do that, if that's biased, but I got a Flame bias, and I'm
Hey, we're all a little partial to our alma mater, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's a good thing.
So just really excited about what the Lord is doing and the opportunity to impact people. Where we are is we're seeing people who were far from God, didn't know God, really encounter the love of Jesus.
That's what it's all about.
There was one young lady. She just started coming. We started Monday gatherings mainly because there was me and my wife when we were having our last child. And when I say we, she did all the work and I held her hand. But the nurse, we ended up praying for her. She was going through a hard time. And she said, it's the first time somebody prayed for me in 8 years.
Wow.
I'm a single mom and I've got to work the weekends. And so we started Mondays for folks just like her. And we've watched God bring people in. One young lady was raised a Satanist. I never met anybody who was actually raised that and encountered the love of God at our church. Somebody invited her, and just getting to see her transform and her bringing friends and just seeing the gospel multiply. Relational evangelism is just our heartbeat. We like to say it like this: as long as there is one more person who needs the hope and love of Jesus, we got work to do.
Got to keep going.
Yeah,
I love that.
We got work to do.
Well, I think there's a reason why the Lord has blessed and as we like to say around here, established the work of our hands, Lord.
Come on.
Because I think you've kept the main thing, and you've kept it about people who need to know the love and hope of Jesus, and that's what it's all about. Pastor Mo, I want to highlight a pretty significant event, I think, for you personally, and as a kid who was raised in the Church of God. And many people who are Church of God know, of course, the General Assembly is it, man. It's the Super Bowl every other year. It's of course our denomination's big assembly where there's church business that's
Yeah.
discussed. But then every evening, thousands and thousands of Church of God people come together to have an evening service, to worship the Lord, and to hear a word from the Lord. And in 2024, you got the opportunity to be on that stage in Indianapolis, and I was there. It was a proud moment for everybody connected with Lee University, first of all, because you are a product of Lee, but I think a proud moment in a number of ways. So I just want you to kind of take us through that experience, getting that phone call, getting that opportunity, and just what was going through your mind. And man, what a great evening it was.
Yeah, I think that was an incredible moment, and I just honor Bishop Tim Hill for the invitation, and Bishop Tony Stewart, and all those who were involved in that. It was definitely a shock. I think I was 35 at the time, and I hadn't seen anybody under 40 speak at the assembly, and so that was just a really a shocking moment, a humbling moment, but it was definitely something that I was nervous. My wife, she was glad when it's over because she got her husband back, because I was on pins and needles. Just
I'm sure.
It's a big moment, thousands of people there, and just an opportunity to share what God has laid on your heart and really share a message for the movement and the denomination. And that night, I just felt the presence of God, the peace of God, and I was honored to represent not just the Church of God, but to represent Lee University. I think sometimes we don't realize just the quality, and I say this with all humility, I'm really talking about all of my contemporaries and my classmates, just the quality of people that are produced out of our schools. We have, I may have been the one on the stage, but there are so many quality men and women of God who are dynamic communicators and leaders, and God is using Lee University to produce quality ministers of the gospel. And I was just glad to be able to show that, faithful ministers of the gospel are coming out of Lee University, and just being able to share that moment with my kids, who I've got 3 boys that I pray are future flames, and they're part of that legacy, and for them to see that. And I actually went into the Lee meeting that was happening after the after party, and just getting to see so many different flames, and encouraging how supportive they were. It was a special moment and honor of my life. You only get to do that once, and so it was just really a special moment. I'm grateful for it.
Well, we were very proud of you, Pastor Mo. So
thank you.
Leading into that, you talked about your just excitement to represent Lee. So Dr. Cook, of course, taking over as president. So excited about that, and the energy that's brought over the last several months as he is, in the middle of his first year here. But what excites you most about the future of Lee? You've stayed, and we're so grateful for it, but you've stayed very connected. You've been a part of our alumni advisory board, and you've been a convocation speaker and a chapel speaker, and you've continued to invest in the future of Lee. So from an alumni perspective, what excites you most about the future?
And from alumni perspective, let me speak broadly. Practically, I think Lee is producing the best ministry students, and so I want to stay connected, because they're folks I want to hire to be a part of my team at the church. But I'm excited about Lee's future because of its distinction. It is a quality institution with the top of the line academics without sacrificing the spirit and the presence of God. And both of those things in alignment just has me excited about the future. We're producing leaders in the area of nursing. We've got an engineering school coming up. We've got so many different aspects of leaders in every sphere of influence in our nation and in the workforce, and just seeing God produce that. I've got a vested interest in Lee, because when I think about my boys being educated, I want them to be educated in a place like this, who's going to care about their soul as much as their head, is going to care about their heart as much as the dollars that they bring in through tuition. And I look forward to a Lee that's continuing to be vibrant. I think Dr. Cook has brought a level of energy that is propelling us forward.
Yeah.
Come hell or high water, we're going to take the mountain.
That's right.
And just seeing his zeal, I love, that idea of presidential Uber is so cool.
Yeah.
And just all of the little things that he's doing, it's just got me excited about not just the present, but the future of Lee. I think what God does next is going to happen through the next generation. And if it's going to happen anywhere, I think it's going to happen here at Lee.
I love it, man. That flame is contagious. I say to a lot of folks, but I think one of the things that you think about is what quantifies success for an institute of higher education, right? So once you get students on campus, what qualifies success? Well, to me, what qualifies success is just look at the alumni. Look at what the alumni are doing after you graduate. What's happening? And Pastor Mo, you embody that so well of what it means to go out from this place, to continue to trust God, live a life that brings glory to Him. And God is honoring that, and so our alumni are the return on investment, and they are what determine our success. You've had a tremendous amount of success. I've enjoyed our conversation, Pastor Mo. Thank you so much.
I so appreciate you having me here and celebrate what you're doing. And if I could speak to the alumni, let him cook 50. Join me. I was the first one to give to
That's
that.
Right.
Help me do that, y'all.
I did not ask Pastor Mo to say that. He did that on his own, but we appreciate your support in so many ways. Pastor Mo Huggins, Mountain West Church, doing tremendous things for the gospel. Pastor Mo, thank you.
Thank you so much.
This has been the Forever Aflame podcast. Make sure to share this, and we look forward to talking with you again soon. We've got another alum on the couch telling their Lee story.